Gear has a very obvious role when it comes to music making. A guitar, for example, makes sound, an amplifier makes it louder, a pedal modifies it, so on and so forth. But we have to remind ourselves that we are musicians, we're not accountants. What we do, our craft, is creative in nature, and in the end, the role that gear plays goes way beyond simply doing what it does. A guitar that you like makes you feel good when you wield it. One amp might push you to hold a particular note for longer, when another would push you to shred. Or why not playing a single chord and letting the delay pedal do its magic? You see, gear has a very meaningful impact on the creative process, and we as musicians shouldn't just leave that to chance. We should actively tap into those unexplored sources of inspiration and let them take our music somewhere new. And talking about inspiration, it's actually kind of funny how I got inspired to make this video, because a while back I got this from soundbrenner. This is called Touch Me. What it does and how it works is basically you generate a signal by closing the circuits in between the two sides of the board, and you can modify that signal by moving things around. It's very simple in principle, but it's actually a very clever idea and it's a great application for it. And the whole thing with inspiration and creativity is interesting how I haven't even actually taken the time to fully explore this in depth. We will, because we actually have several plans of things that we want to do with this in a musical context and explore the many possibilities that this creates, and you can expect to see a video exploring the musical uses for this to eventually pop up in your feed. But the funny thing is, just by hooking this up and giving it a quick test, it already served the purpose. The plain exercise of imagining what could be done with this already took my mind to places it had never gone before. And that led me to all of these ideas that I'm now sharing with you. And that's the thing with inspiration and creativity. It can be sparked by just a new input, something new, something different. Can bring you ideas, can bring you thoughts, can bring you music that simply never crossed your mind before. See how powerful this can be. It's not really about what it can do. It's about where it can take you, your mind, and your music. I can't wait to give it a proper go in a musical context and see what comes out of it. But seeing how it has already inspired me, even by just testing it out, it already paid for itself. Or it would have, if I had paid for it. We need to remember that music begins in the mind, and anything that can take your mind different places can take your music different places as well. And look, I'm making this video not only to share these ideas that I had, but also as a call to action. Because honestly, I'm pretty fed up with music that sucks, and I would love to see more music that doesn't suck being made. Simple as that. And I know that many of you can relate to that. And it's kind of baffling that in a time and in a world where the possibilities are endless, we have gear, we have tools, we have resources to do so much, music has never been so stale, has never been so samey. Think of the 60s, the 70s, the 80s. Some of the stuff we have access to nowadays would be beyond the wildest dreams of someone from those times. And they were making music that was more inspired, more creative, and more unique. Why? Great question. There are probably many factors that justify that. But if I had to pick a main one, I'd say it's because they were testing shit out. Nobody knew what worked. There wasn't a standard to what a guitar should sound like. There weren't quintessential rock grooves. It was all in the making. That experimentation was at the very core of making music that had a personality, that had a uniqueness to it. Because all of those bands, they weren't trying to sound like this or that. They weren't trying to sound like one another. They were making their own thing. Now we have new technologies popping up, new softwares, new plugins being released on a weekly basis. Things that are incredible in what they can do. And it seems like they don't change anything. And at that time, whatever new piece of technology came around, it changed everything. It had a huge impact in music in general, because people were trying to make the most out of everything they had. When synths popped up, they revolutionized the music industry. Synths were everywhere. Everybody tried to find different ways to incorporate them into their music. People allowed themselves to be moved and inspired by something new. And that's what we lost. Not the technologies, but this willingness, this mentality, this doctrine of letting ourselves be inspired by things. And letting that inspiration take our mind, take our music to different places and deliver something unique. If we can revert to that mentality of stacking one cymbal on top of another to see what the heck happens, or maybe changing the position of pedals to see how the effect is different, taking the time to actually learn what the freaking knobs on your amp do, or let's say hooking something like this up to a synthesizer and seeing what happens or what it takes you. with that mindset, we can go back to making music that's unique, that has a personality. And since this stuff is more accessible than ever, we don't have to wait for the big acts to do it. We should do it ourselves. The big names in music are already set in their ways. And for as great as they are, even them, on the most part, are also delivering more of the same. No, this is on us. I went a little bit on a rampant here, but it's just because of how important I consider this. I think this whole thing with letting yourself be inspired is such a quintessential, such a fundamental part of music making that simply got lost over time. And I think we need to bring it back. I think it's our responsibility to bring it back. And the first step to do that is simply by talking about it. So here I am. Those are some of the thoughts that kind of struck me when experimenting with this thing, and I wanted to share them with you. I hope they made sense. I hope they brought something of value to you. And if they did, I would invite you to subscribe to the channel, to ring the bell, to do the whole shebang. And also I'll invite you to keep the conversation going on our Discord in a way that is a little bit more back and forth. And look, this was the device that actually got the ball rolling for me and inspired me to do this video and talk to you. And if you're feeling like getting one of these for yourself, you can get it by following one of the links below. And you can also get it with a discount by using the discount code here below as well, and you will also be helping us in the process, so thank you for that. And look, if you want to help us even further, you can also follow us on other social media such as Instagram and X, and we'll also listen to our music on Apple Music or Spotify and here on YouTube as well. And with all of that said and done, the only thing left is that you should never let anybody tell you what you dream about, and remember that I'll see you when I see you.